Hello, everyone. I see several watchers are already here. Thank you so much for joining us today for my terrific Tuesday chat with friends over coffee. I forgot to ask them if they had their coffee. I am using my new Literary Cat mug today for the first time, so I got it for Christmas. So welcome, everyone. This Oh, great. Oh, she's got some juice there, it looks like. So in the middle is Jane Catherine, or we call her Catherine, from Jane Catherine on Books. And if you have been participating in March Mystery Madness in previous years, you know that she is a former host. She was all set to host this year and then had some issues come up and decided it would be better for her not to. But I wanted to include her in at least one of my chats this month and just catch up with her and see what she's reading for March Mystery Madness. Hopefully she'll be able to come back next year as a host. And then on the far side of the screen is my sister. Wave to everybody. This is Charlotte. I'll let both of these ladies introduce themselves and tell a little bit about themselves in just a minute. But I wanted to just say welcome to them and welcome everyone who's watching. And so let's start with Catherine. Would you like to, for any of my viewers that may have not seen you, tell us about yourself, where you're from, and what you're reading for March Mystery Madness?
Okay, I'm Catherine, although my first name is Jane Catherine, and I am from the UK. I live in Scarborough, which is a seaside town in the northeast of England, and the weather's awful here at the moment. We're having usual awful drab English weather, so it's nice to do something like this and have a bit of a chat and a read and a boost, really. I have a booktube channel which I think it's 3 years I've been doing this now, and it's probably knocking on for 4 years now, and I've been co-hosting with all the lovely guys for March Mystery Madness for I think the last 3 years, and this year I've just had a few health issues, not the dreaded you-know-whats, but a few other things that catch up on you when you get to a certain age. And so it was a bit difficult for me to commit to hosting again this year. But I'm still putting out some content. And every year also, everybody usually looks forward to Nelson's Picks.
Yes.
Nelson's my dog. And we usually have some pet mysteries, don't we? We usually have a few of those recommended, and I'm about to film that. I've sorted out what they are, so yes, watch out for Nelson's Picks.
So, awesome. I was going to ask you if Nelson was going to pick anything.
What kind of dog is Nelson?
Is. Yeah. Sorry?
What kind of dog is Nelson?
It's a cockapoo.
Oh,
so he's
cute.
half cocker spaniel, half poodle.
Oh, that sounds adorable.
Yes, he's very cute. You'll have to check out her videos so you can see him. He's in some of her videos. In fact, if he's there today, feel free to put him on camera.
Oh, I've locked him out because he'll be up and knocking everything over.
In fact, I was just thinking I needed to text my daughter Katie. She's on her way home from a college class, and as soon as she walks in the door, the dogs are going to be barking and going crazy. So I'm going to text her and tell her to come in through the garage so that all the noise will be over there and not right here by the front door. Anyway, all right. Did you want to say anything else at this minute, Catherine, or should we move on to Charlotte?
No, not really. I don't think so. I'm a retired nurse. I retired sort of a few years early because of my husband's health. We're like a pair of old crocs together, I think, now. 2 young old crocs. And I'm just sitting in the office at the minute. So the main bookshelves are usually behind me where I film in the lounge. And I read a whole host of mysteries, from cozy mysteries right up to some serious hard-boiled stuff. So I think I've got a bit of an eclectic mix. I'll read most things apart from horror. I'm not a horror girl, no.
All right, so I'll let Charlotte tell about herself. I think right now for today, she's reading a book that is not necessarily a mystery. She does read some cozy mysteries. In fact, she got me into reading cozy mysteries with the Hannah Swenson series. But Charlotte, tell us about your favorite hobby that's not reading, and also tell us what you like to read.
Hi, I'm Charlotte, and I live in northeast Oklahoma, kind of close to Tulsa, for any of you that know the United States. Elizabeth and I grew up in southeastern Oklahoma, really not that far from Dallas. And my favorite hobby, what I do to relax and for fun, is sewing and quilting. But I've always enjoyed reading to relax, just wind down. So I'm not, I don't do it to the point that I have to write down everything I read. As I get busy with sewing, I forget, I probably should have written down that book that I read, but I'll do that later. Then what was it? I don't remember. So anyway, I kind of keep up with reading the books and what's current through Elizabeth now. But I did get her onto a couple of fun ones, the Anna Swenson, which we both think are kind of elementary now, and the Miss Julia, which is not a mystery, but that's a fun series. And then Elizabeth got me onto the quilting series by Erlene. Oh, Elizabeth, what's her name? Erlene
Fowler?
I'll go grab one of them in a minute so we'll know.
Erlene Fowler?
Say it again. Erlene
Fowler
has a quilting series. But right now I just finished an Amish mystery that we'll show you in Elizabeth in a little bit. I think Elizabeth's got that lined up. So I just kind of read what strikes me. One of my favorite authors is Marie Bostwick. She doesn't write mysteries, she writes women fiction, but she has a new one out that I'm about to order because my friend said it's excellent. I got my friend on to reading her too. So I like cozy mysteries and women's fiction and Christian fiction and some nonfiction, and like to read the Bible and theological things that back that up also.
Awesome. And sorry, if I had a weird expression, it's because I noticed people were telling me that my mic was too loud, and so I was trying to figure out how to adjust that. I went in, so everybody tell me if it's better. I'm using headphones today, so that I was trying to help because of that. And Charlotte can confirm this. I have always been told my whole life that I'm just way too loud.
Well, me too. I think it's a genetic thing.
But I went through and I had my mic on adjust manually or adjust automatically. So I clicked that off and I turned it down. So I don't know if it's my computer or if it's the headphones or if it's just StreamYard. So those of you who said my mic was too loud, is it any better? Or tell me if can you guys hear me? I'm always worried. I think I'm always worried that you can't hear me, and that's stupid because I talk too loud. And I've always been told that my voice carries. So, who was it? Amber. Is the volume any different now? Who else was that? I'm scrolling back through.
I think you're okay.
Sounds okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You've
I'm
got
trying
a
to
long
see.
way to get to me in England, so it's
Yeah. Yeah, there was somebody who was watching last week. Their channel name was Hand Lotion, or they watched it like after the fact, and they said that my voice was too loud. And I'm like, oh goodness, I'm sorry. I'll try to be.
We have teacher voices. We came through that honestly, didn't we?
Yeah, and now
It's bleeping.
I
Sorry,
think
can you hear
you're
that
fine.
bleeping? It keeps bleeping mine. Is that okay?
I can't hear any bleeping. I think that's just
that's
on your
fine.
end.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
okay.
hear any.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so last week I had just one guest. It was Allie from a new channel, Allie Lischansky, and we chatted so long that we didn't get any reading done. So let's just share quickly what we're reading, and then I think some people have come to Sprint. So now you guys out there who are watching, if you are familiar with live reading sprints, then you know the drill. But Charlotte, when I was asking her about doing this, she's like, you mean people are going to watch me read? And I was like, well, theoretically, they're going to be reading themselves. So, they're not going to be paying too much attention to you. But anyway, we can mute our mics or not. It doesn't really matter. So what I am going to read, and we'll do, let's see, it's 11:48. So by 11:50, let's start a sprint if we can. And well, it's 11 for me. For Charlotte, it's 10:50, and for Catherine, it is 4:50 p.m. Right?
Yes.
Is that or 4:48?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's in the UK.
Time.
Yeah. So I am going to start a book that I should have started already. It's this thick, and I have to read this for book club, which is Thursday. I've got it on audio. It's The Witch Elm by Tana French. I've got it on audio, but for me, it's hard to get started into a book. So I'm going to read the first few pages in print just to get a feel for what's going on. So tell us what you guys are reading. I know Charlotte's not necessarily reading a mystery right now, but she likes to read one book at a time. She's one of those weird people that just reads one at a time. So
the only way that I'll read more than one is if I'm listening to an audiobook while I'm sewing, and then I want to read a print book to go to sleep at night.
So show us what you're reading right now.
I'm a sewer as well, Charlotte. I do sewing, and that's my
Hey,
other love
Elizabeth,
as
we
well.
might get off talking on sewing in a minute.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. If you guys out there watching just sewing or quilting or whatever, let us know in the chat. I know Amber does a lot of crafting. All right, so Catherine's got what?
So I've just finished this one, it, and it's called The Hidden Wife. You can see that. That's it. Take the glare off. And it's by Amanda Reynolds. Now, I've not heard of this author before.
I haven't either.
And it was very inexpensive, because sometimes there's places over here you can get 3 books for £5. And some of them are good and some of them are, not so good, because they're cheap and they're trying to get rid of them, I think.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting great things from this, but it is really, really good. It's a psychological thriller, and the premise is that we have got a famous author that's probably in his 50s, and he is married to his wife's about 30, I think, 28, 30. And she goes missing on their wedding anniversary. And has she really got missing, or has somebody done her in? Has she been done in? So it's very well written. There's a really good plot in it. And I gave it 4 stars. It's well worth a read. So that is a new author to me, Amanda Reynolds. I've not heard of her before. And then what I brought to read, I've just started, which I have read something by. I've not got a very big screen on my phone. These Shallow Graves, and this is a historical mystery by Jennifer Donnelly. I don't know if either of you have heard of Jennifer Donnelly. I have read, trying to think which is the book that I've read. A Gathering Light is the one that I've read by her. And I'm not too far into it, about page 66. I'm going to be reading some of this. And it's set in New York, and it's set in 1890. I don't know where to hold it. And it's a mystery about, it's very much the class system in the UK back in the 1890s, the late 1800s. And there is a young girl. Can you see that? Okay. There is a young girl who believes that her father has been involved in a shooting accident and has died. But it turns out, I think there's probably been a murder. And she's one of these young girls that very much wants to break out from the class system, because if they were from wealthy families here in the UK back in those times, they were expected to sit at home and do needlework. I mean, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Chance to be a fine thing if we could do that, Charlotte. Sit at home and do needlework.
That sounds fun.
Yes. So
I like the cover on that book too. That was pretty neat.
It is. So at the minute, the murder has just happened, and I think there's going to be a really intriguing mystery.
Is that one of those that's hard to put down?
I think so. I mean, I'm 66, and I mean, it's quite chunky. It's nearly 480 pages, but it's going pretty fast. The pace is pretty fast, and it's very well written, and I like the fact that she represents what it was like in the UK back in those times. She very much, because sometimes unless the author, I don't know what if she's actually American or where she lives actually, but sometimes historical fiction that's really talking about what the class system and what's happening in the UK, but set in the States. And I don't know if you find that sometimes they don't always transfer that well. They don't always understand the historical nuances.
Cultural differences.
No, I'm not being rude here. I'm not trying to be rude against American authors.
There are cultural differences, even
there are, and sometimes it just doesn't translate, and therefore
Right.
it doesn't make. And she's excellent at that. She really is excellent. It's the same as Laurie. Sorry, I'm still talking. Laurie R. King. I don't know if any of you have come across Laurie R. King. Now she writes, and if people like Sherlock Holmes, that's a fascinating series. It's as if Sherlock Holmes retires and gets married, and him and his wife go off on adventures and have mysteries together. So that's a really good one. I'm going to be reading next. So yes, I'll shut up now.
Oh no, that's totally fine. I had just muted because the dogs started barking, and then Katie came in, and so I was telling her, I'm like, take the dogs in your room so they're not loud. Yeah, no, I threw up a couple of comments there that people said, Catherine, I don't know if you saw them. Rebecca, the book nester, said that she read that and loved it. And then Janelle was saying she bought the book, but she hasn't read it yet. So yeah, so good feedback on those. Charlotte, Lisa says that she likes crafting and sewing. She just doesn't have time for those hobbies.
I didn't either until I retired.
Yeah. So Charlotte, did you say that you're a retired school teacher? I forget if you said.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that. I'm a retired school teacher. I taught family and consumer sciences that was called home economics when I first started. So you may understand what that is.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us what you're reading, Charlotte.
Real quickly, so we can start reading. I am reading Divine Appointments by Charlene Ann Bombick, and it's not really a mystery, and it's just so, but it was like 3 books in a series, and I wanted to read the 3rd one, so I thought I'd read this one. All right, so let's start reading.
Yeah, it's kind of got middle book syndrome, I think, being that second book. All right, I'm going to meet
my. So hey, what can I say?
I'm the youngest. Yes, we have one brother that is 2 years older than Charlotte. All right, so I've got my timer set for. Do y'all want to do 15 or 20?
You're the host.
All right. Sometimes people say 15 is not long enough, so let's do 20, and then we'll come back and chat for a few minutes, and then I'll have to get off of here at 30 because Emily will have to get back on for school. So, all right. Let me reset my timer for. Well, dear. Let's see. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get Katie. Katie's here now. Teenagers can figure out anything. Right. Will you set my timer for 20 minutes?
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and read, and I'll start it right now. It's a couple minutes till noon, but we'll start and do 20 starting now.
Okay. Oh, something making me jump on this phone.
There goes my timer.
Okay.
I know, it goes fast, doesn't it? I only got not quite 7 pages read. Katie, y'all may have seen me talking over here to the side. Katie came in and was telling me about her morning. She only has one in-person class, and it's every other week. She goes to a chemistry lab. So she was telling me about that, and then she went to Target and had to show me what she got. And I'm like, can it wait until I'm not on the computer? But no, with a teenager, it can't wait. Anyway, so yeah, I went into this completely blind. I didn't even know. I guess I'm thinking a lot of times, with a woman author, you have a woman narrator, but the narrator is a guy, and I have not even read any description about this at all. But
is the protagonist a guy or a lady?
Yeah, no, it's a guy.
Okay, so
yeah, the narrator of the story. Yeah, I'm when I say narrator, I mean the person who's speaking. Yeah, like it's from his first person narration. So it starts right out, with guy humor. He's having a few drinks with the guys, and so by page 4 we already have the F word and all that. So it's not going to be a book that I love, but it's for book club. So I give allowances for that, and I didn't pick it. I don't get to pick everything, even though I'm the facilitator of the mystery book club. I don't pick all the books. We kind of let everybody have input. So anyway, I'm going to go through the rest of it on audio. I just kind of wanted to get a feel for the beginning of it, and I might read the description. It is not. No, it's not. We read the first Dublin Murder Squad book for book club a couple of years ago, and I didn't love it, but we were talking about that series on one of the other live shows with some of the March Mystery Madness hosts, and Emily Sears said that she loves the series, but she did not love the first book. And so she read the first one and then kept reading, and she said the second or third one is like the best book in that series. So I might give it another chance. Yeah. But this one's a standalone. I didn't like
the first one that much either.
Yeah. So just so you know, other people have said that it gets better. So Charlotte, Catherine, how many pages did you get read, or are you enjoying your book?
9, I think. 9 pages.
Okay.
There were some that were sort of the quite short chapters. There has been a twist.
Already?
There's already been a twist, so really good. Just quickly, I was reading about the author. I thought I'd better look at the authors about the author, and she actually lives in Hudson Valley in New York. And she's written three adult thrillers, and 1, 2, and the one I read was a young adult one. And she's won loads of prizes and things in the US for her writing. So
who's the author again?
Quite interesting. Sorry?
Who's the author again?
Jennifer Donnelly.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
So It's hotting up now. Where it's quite, and there's a touch of humour in it as well, because obviously she's from this well-to-do family, and they don't sort of go in the rough areas, when she is to start to investigate what's happened to her father. And it's quite funny because they're not quite used to roughing it, as it were, are they?
Is the protagonist a professional detective or in law enforcement, or is it amateur?
No, just amateur, and she really would like to be a journalist. So okay. I think that's why she's she was hoping that she could start investigating some things before her father's death. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's
okay.
It's quite fast paced. So I'm quite enjoying that, because sometimes they can be a little bit too slow, can't they, and drag on with every little detail. So I'm enjoying it.
And speaking of Emily Sears, she just she just commented. She's here. Hi, Emily. We were just talking about the Dublin Murder Squad, because I was reading a little bit of this, which I know is not from Dublin Murder Squad, but Catherine was asking if it was. So we were just talking about you. So let's see what Rebecca says. 17 years old. Are you asking about Katie? Katie's 17, but I don't know if that's what you're referring to. Anyway, I'm sorry I haven't been meaning to ignore the comments. Thank you all for commenting. We'll go back through and read everything.
On that note,
yeah, Charlotte,
a lot
what
of
are
people
you?
have been saying
How'd you
hello,
do?
and I haven't figured out how. I don't know that I'm able to respond. So hi, everybody, for the
Yeah, just verbally. Yeah, you can add to the chat, but you can just say hello because they can hear you.
So hi, appreciate the comments. Are you ready for me to talk about mine yet? Or
yes, go ahead. No, I'm just gonna read it.
I'm reading this Divine Appointments, and I read about 25 pages, but it's large print in my defense. So anyway, you know how books will have a pivotal moment, and I didn't really like it. Well, I read that and got past that, and I'm going, oh, this is kind of going to draw me in now, you know. So I got through that. The big thing that kind of happened that made you kind of have more compassion for the protagonist, the person that it's about, that you're like didn't like that much up to the end. Anyway. And I wanted to say about another, I think we could call it mystery that I read lately. It's been one of the most memorable books that I read. Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate put me on reading a lot of her other stuff. But this is a mystery because you want to know as you read it how it turns out, and it's a page turner. You know, you want to keep finding out. Do they find out? Do they get this lady? They got them and all that stuff. So I would highly recommend this book to anybody. Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. And I want to read the real life stories of these kids called Before and After by Lisa Wingate and another author. I haven't read this one yet. It's real stories about these kids that were stolen.
I've read that.
Yeah.
I think it's a while ago, though, I think, when I read that. It's, very good.
It's heart-wrenching, but it's good.
We read Before We Were Yours last year for our regular book club, and I think we're reading the nonfiction one later this year, which is
maybe
good.
I can buddy read it with you when you're reading it then.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. While I have Charlotte on, I wanted to show you guys a series that she's been reading. She just sent me this book. This would be good for March Mystery Madness or Amish in April because it's an Amish mystery. And this is the first book in the series, and I'm talking too loud again, I'm sorry.
No,
Falling to Pieces by Vanetta Chapman. And she sent me this. I have not started it yet, but she just finished the second book. So she's showing it now, A Perfect Square. And
they were both excellent. They were both
Perfect
really
Square. And who
good.
is it by?
Vanetta Chapman.
Right, okay. Vanilla.
They're both excellent. The third one got just as high a rating too. I'm fixing to order the third one. There's 3.
Got it. Thank you.
Can y'all tell Charlotte's from Oklahoma? Fixing to read the third one.
I'm fixing.
Have you ever said that, Catherine, in your whole life, that you're fixing to do something?
No.
I'm from Oklahoma too. I don't know that I've said that very much lately, but it's funny how you adapt.
People start talking like the people they're around. So my mom used to get frustrated with Elizabeth. She said she talks different now when she moved to Florida.
Well, even when I moved to Stillwater to go to college, I was, roommates with kids who were from Tulsa and Oklahoma City, and they had a different accent / dialect than us country folks.
Well, and did I ever tell you when I went to OSU and people would say, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Oklahoma." No, you're not. I said, "Oh, Southeastern Oklahoma, little Dixie down there."
You've got far more because you're such a larger country than us. You've got far more dialects and different differences. Really, I mean, I don't speak very good Queen's English. I'm afraid. I'm a bit Yorkshire, a bit broad speaking.
Have you ever heard of a lady from England who has a BookTube channel called The Last Homely House? I enjoy watching her and listening to her.
Oh,
have you ever watched
her?
Yeah, she's so sweet.
She's further where she lives in Northumberland.
See, I thought she doesn't live. She lives in northern England. Okay.
Yeah,
she's really.
I mean, we're in North Yorkshire, and then she's further up. She's probably a couple of hours drive further up north than us on the coast. Beautiful. We like going up there. It's a beautiful part. But she's wonderful, isn't she?
She is.
Kate. I think they call her Kate, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that sounds right.
I'll have to look her up. Now, what does she talk about, Charlotte? Does she talk about quilting or?
All kind of crafts. She in her garden. She takes you, and she has cats. Elizabeth. She loves cats. She has cats that get in the video. I mean, they won't get out of the way. They're just right there.
Yeah. Oh, fun. So y'all who are watching, did you catch that? And if you like crafts and stuff, have any of y'all ever seen her, The Last Homely House? I think, Charlotte, you may have mentioned her one time before, but I forgot to ever look her up. So I'll do that when we're done here.
She's about my age, or maybe a little older, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
I don't.
And she does wonderful English paper pieced quilts, doesn't she?
She cooks and she does her gardening, and one time she did a video about, she made a bunch of homemade stuff and delivered it to a lot of neighbors, and she took you along delivering the stuff she made to people. It was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Rebecca said she watches her too. Rebecca has a really neat channel. Rebecca lives, is it Vermont where you live, or Maine? Somewhere up north of here. And Rebecca does coloring is a big thing she does, but also sometimes she'll show her gardening and things like that. So y'all should check out the Colorful Book Nester. She talks about books and gardening and all that stuff. So that's awesome. All right, and any of the rest of you who are watching, here's Allie. Allie has, she was my guest last week. She has a new BookTube channel. Emily, the Redhead, is reading. Emily is a librarian. She talks about a lot of nonfiction. She's one of our March Mystery Madness hosts, and she does a series on mysteries and history. Amber also has a channel, does a lot of reading and crafts and all that kind of stuff. Breezy Ann, do you have a channel? I don't even know. I need to go check out all these people. Hello, Noah. I don't think I know you. Thank you for coming. Oh, you know Noah? Awesome. There you go. Does Noah have a channel?
Wonderful. Texas, Nola.
Okay, great. And Starla, you wrote some of your comments in another language, but I do not know what language that is. So thank you for joining us.
I was wondering.
Anyway, I'm just scrolling back up through the comments. Lisa, I don't know if you have a channel or not, but welcome. Thanks to everybody who is here. If I have missed anybody, my apologies. I'm just kind of scrolling back up. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to have to get off here pretty soon because Emily's, Noah says hi, no channel. Okay. Thank you, though. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that you are you reading anything from March Mystery Madness? Sorry, my phone just beeped. Are you participating in March Mystery Madness? And Breezy Ann says, nope, just a very. Now, I've seen Breezy Ann comment on our Discord group, which, by the way, I'll just put in a couple plugs for that. I don't know if either of you ladies have been on there. Discord has been super fun, and a lot of people have been just chatting and sprinting and talking about all the mysteries that they're reading this month. And there's a link for it in my original March Mystery Madness announcement video, and I'll try to remember to put a link in this video. I'm not going to link anything right now until this uploads, because last week I put a link to Allie's channel before, like when I just announced the video, and then for some reason it didn't translate. The video, the link wasn't good, and people were saying they couldn't get on. So I'll add some links after I see that this is uploaded. What's that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Elizabeth.
No, go ahead.
I've recently started a craft YouTube channel as well.
Oh, what's your channel?
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
It's Creating with Catherine.
With a C. Creating with Catherine. All right, I'll look you up.
Creating with Catherine with a C. Yeah.
Will you send me a link so I can add it?
I will definitely look you up. I like to listen to crafters and quilters while I'm sewing and quilting, so I'll look you up.
And I'm missing being the host this year. I am missing it. I'm thinking about you all.
Yes, we're missing you. Send me a link to your other channel, or is it in the description of your other videos?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll find the link and I'll put it in the description of this video. Yeah, absolutely. So for those who are watching,
more than Charla.
Yes. Yeah. Charlotte doesn't have a channel, but she does do. She does do a lot of quilting and reading and all that stuff. In fact, I was going to show you guys. I have shown this on my Instagram, and I meant to tell her to bring a quilt. I'm not going to be able to show it all on here, but
I'll show you a quilt. Here.
Okay, this is my favorite quilt that she's ever made for me.
Oh, lovely.
Go a little side. There you go. Oh, that's your canning one. Yeah. So I have this one that she made for me that is a bookcase. And I don't have it hanging up right now because of
I
our
remember, because you've had
renovations.
that a couple of years, haven't you? Did you make it a
Yes,
couple of
there's a
years
video.
ago?
Yeah,
There's a video on my channel.
Yeah.
Video on my channel where I go through each frame by frame. It's not a real good
I'm
video.
not a
It's
big
kind of shaky.
quilter. I'm not that good.
All right, you guys. So someone says I'm gonna miss the. Well, you know what? Amber says she's gonna miss the Discord when the MMM is over. It'll still be there. We can still chat about mysteries all year long. I mean, much like our Mystery Madness Goodreads group. The thing is, once March Mystery Madness is over, people kind of forget about it, and so it'll still be there, and we can still chat about mysteries all year long for sure. Yeah. All right, you guys. Everybody got to talk about what they're. Anybody want to share in the comments what you are reading or how many pages you read or anything before we go? Of course, Emily's not in here, raring to get back on to the computer for school, so she can be a few minutes late.
Oh, bless her.
So, Breezy Ann says she started a bookshelf quilt but never finished it. Very much an amateur quilter. Well, that's cool, though, that you're a quilter at all. I've only ever made one quilt. It's a T-shirt quilt. And I started another one, but then I had Emily, and now she's 19. And that's how far I got on it. I haven't gotten any more to... Charlotte's you're showing us your quilting T-shirt.
Oh. Yeah, I was trying to say thank you to everybody, so I'll just say thank you for the ones that commented about the quilts. Thank you. Yeah,
so you can always come back and
the
other way. I know it's hard to know which way to turn on here.
Oh, that's lovely.
So let's see. What did you say? Rebecca says Rebecca, what are you reading? Your book has one dead and a missing train already, and you just started it. What book is it?
Starts you right in the middle of the plot.
Yeah, and some people like that. If there's not a body, in the first couple of chapters, they're like, "What's taking so long?"
Like too slow.
Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is also Rebecca. She says mason jars and fabric, brilliant. Yes, it's a beautiful quilt, Rebecca.
It's nice to see you, Rebecca.
Those are so pretty. Yes. Rebecca, you could come on here in a future week if you'd like. I'm not going to share. I do have 2 people scheduled for next week, and I'll keep it a surprise. One of them might be here right now watching, and I'm open to having more people on. So I've got 2 scheduled for next week, and after that, I don't have anyone scheduled for the rest of the month. So email me, LizzieFaye1982@gmail.com if you would like to join in on one of these fun chats with books and coffee and friends.
Just real quick, yes. I got a phone call also while we were on the reading time, and we kind of look after a 96-year-old lady up the road that never got married, had any children, and we had that big freeze, you remember, a couple of weeks ago where it got down to like -16. Well, the water company just called me. And she's got a water leak somewhere. They said she's using 500 gallons when she usually uses 100. So our afternoon job is up to her house and find where it's leaking between the meter and her house. Life happens.
So you have to go now and do that.
Into the 70s today, so that's good.
Oh, bless her.
So Rebecca says she's reading a short story collection of miraculous mysteries. Well, so no wonder, because if it's a short story, they've got to get to the point real quick. And Charlotte, I'm glad that your book is getting better and that it's gotten something, you've had something that pulled you in. Yeah. That's good. Well, thank you, both of you. Is there anything else you'd like to say to everyone or to me before we sign off?
Well, thank you very much for inviting us.
Yes, thank you. And the technology has worked. It's marvelous, isn't it? How many thousands of miles we are away? And
it was nice to meet you, Catherine.
Meet you, Elizabeth, as well. At last,
and I will watch your channel and comment to you there.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, it'd be nice to see you.
Well, thanks to both of you. Thanks to all of you who are watching. And I guess that's all for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.
God bless you. Bye.
Bye. Keep safe.